All right. Okay, so for the class, this is environmental chemistry, and environmental chemistry is a pretty interesting field because it's really interdisciplinary. It covers lots and lots of different areas of chemistry, and so we're going to have also a lot of opportunities to review different kinds of chemistry that you've learned about in other classes. And this, especially if you're taking some kind of standardized test later, is probably going to be a really nice review. So those of you who are going to be taking the DUC this year, this actually might be really helpful because we can review. We're going to be talking about acid-base chemistry, precipitation reactions, organic molecules, redox chemistry. There's all kinds of stuff. So we're going to have some time to kind of review some of our major classes of chemical reactions. We're also going to be sort of having a foot in two different fields here because on one hand, this class is going to be, if you need it to, substituting for analytical chemistry, quantitative analysis, the Chem 331 class that we have. And so on one hand, we do need to be paying attention to quantitation and how do we accurately measure things. And then on the other hand, a lot of environmental chemistry is fairly qualitative and you may be called upon to make a lot of estimates. So on one hand, we have this high degree of precision that we need to know, is there lead in our well water, right? And on the other hand, we have to be able to make some estimates and get comfortable with that. And this is not something that we do very much in chemistry with the whole estimates thing. So this is another area that we're going to kind of be getting comfortable with. So of course, we're going to be working on collecting and analyzing data. We're also going to be talking about some analytical methods. Unfortunately, because we can't get into the lab, we aren't going to be able to do the really, high instrumentation kinds of stuff that we might otherwise be doing, but we'll do the best we can. And sometimes we'll just talk about data and we'll look at what kind of data we have. So as far as the structure for this class goes, my vision for it, and if you've looked at the Moodle, I'm gonna share my screen in a minute. I'm gonna be posting videos with content on them. So those are sort of the lecture portion of it. There's gonna be problems for you to work sort of in the middle of each of the lectures. I'm gonna have prompts where I say, hey, pause this video and do this problem, and then come back and resume this video after you've had a chance to do that to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And then we're gonna have sessions like this one, only more focused on material, where we get together and work problems together. We might do some little breakout rooms where we work on a couple of different problems and then come back together. And those are going to be ones that are more environmentally focused. So for example, I just posted a journal article up on the Moodle that looks at a bunch of different tests for benzene in well water and people doing some statistical tests on them. So I'm going to be posting some things like that. We're going to be running through problems together and making sure that everybody's comfortable doing the kinds of calculations and analysis that we're doing. And we're going to have to figure out what schedule is going to work because we have a couple people working and we want to make sure that everybody's able to attend. So we'll get back to that one in a little bit. I have two books that we're going to be using in this course. All right, there it is. So one physical book, Elements of Environmental Chemistry. The bookstore should have this one. And the good news is that we probably aren't going to be accessing this one a whole lot this week. So if you haven't had a chance to get it, you have time to order it. And then the other book that we have, I don't have my physical copy here. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so the other book that we're using is Quantitative Chemical Analysis. This is an older quantitative analysis book. I use it in the Chem 331 class. And it is available on the Moodle as a PDF for you to download. It has a really great table of contents in here, so it's easy to navigate between the different sections. So, you know, like it'll jump straight to each of the chapters. So it's a well-designed PDF. It is a little bit dense. And those of you who've taken 331, this first week, there's going to be some review. But hopefully the explanations that I give of the different tests are going to help kind of deepen your understanding of those tests and make sure that this doesn't feel too boring for you this week. Okay. So we have those 2 books. I'm going to also have additional resources. I'm going to go ahead and share my Moodle here. Where is it? I guess this is not my Moodle, but here in a minute will be my Moodle. All right. So our course website is here. The Moodle, I've already put a few resources up here. So here's the quantitative analysis book that I just was showing you. This is a periodic table from that book. It's in the front cover and it doesn't translate in the PDF, but we'll be using it. I put a copy of our syllabus right here. And then this is the permanent link to where we are right now, the Zoom location. So on the Moodle here, I have this basic skills section, and this is going to be where I put things that are reminders of different kinds of calculations if you need a little refresher, or if it's not one that you've studied recently or ever for that matter. I know we don't do very much with parts per million, so I put one up here on that. And then each of the content sections I separated by week, and then I'm trying to kind of be, you know, give you a reasonable sense for an approximate order that you might do these in. And then down below, these are all of the content materials that I'm going to have. So this is just a PDF, but this is a video where we talk about this PDF. And then all of these videos, these are content videos. You can see I've already uploaded some of the homework keys. I just scanned 2 more. I'm going to try and really make sure that all of this content gets front loaded in the week as much as possible. So that way, if you have more time early in the week or even, you know, before the upcoming week, that you can watch the videos and then be ready to ask questions, because that's sort of my, you know, this is sort of the flipped view of a classroom, and it's kind of necessary because we are online, is that you will be interacting with the content videos and then coming into our face-to-face meetings on Zoom with questions, if you have any. If you don't have questions, I'm going to be presenting problems for us to practice on that I'm writing, so that way you can get a feel for how I write problems, how I might be asking you questions that have to do with the material that we are looking at. So then at the end of the week, we're going to have all of the homework assignments. I'm going to put them in as assignments for you to upload and put onto the Moodle. And then at the end of the week, all of those assignments will be due. I mean, you can turn them in at any point before then. But at the due date, I'm just going to be giving you points for completeness on those homework assignments, just to make sure that we don't have a problem with, you know, me getting you feedback. I know this is a new class for me, and so I know I'm going to be spending a lot of time prepping for it. And so I wasn't sure how much time it would take me to grade those. So instead of spending a bunch of time grading and giving you partial points and everything, I'm just going to give you full credit if you have done it completely. If you've done 2/3 of it, I'll give you 2/3 of the points, right? So it'll scale. It's not like an all or nothing kind of deal. My goal is for you to get all of the homework assignments done, so that way you get the practice. I'm kind of giving you like 1 problem from each type. So I'm not giving you a ton of extra work. You may want to practice some additional problems just to check. So those are going to be due Friday night at midnight. Saturday morning, I'm going to make the assignments the keys to those assignments live, so you can check your work. And then over the weekend, we'll have a quiz that you do probably on Sunday. I mean, it just depends on what your review, you know, time is, right? But the quizzes will be posted. I haven't totally figured out how that format is going to work. Moodle is a little bit funky in terms of the format. So I may just have you download a PDF and, you know, scan it and then upload it, but we'll see. So more on that later in the week, right? Once I commit to something for the structure of the exams. So we'll have those due over the weekend, and then we'll start the week with new material. But depending on your personal schedule, you know, I need to remind you that this is a condensed class, and so you will be spending quite a bit of time each day on the material. Depending on your familiarity with it, you may need to spend more time looking at some of those review videos. So don't underestimate the amount of time. Thanks, Ashley, for the reminder. Don't underestimate the amount of time that you need to spend on this course, because we are covering almost 1 week of normal material each day of class. So this is going to be like lots of content each time. So with that kind of as a preface, I'm going to go through the syllabus in more detail in a minute, but I'd like to talk about scheduling before Ashley has to go because she's working at 11. So as far as scheduling goes, I'm 100% open. It looks like Ashley, on Mondays, it would work well to go like 9 a.m. But other days of the week, 9 a.m. is still not early enough. I can either do earlier, I don't care, I can do 8 a.m. I get up pretty early. But I'm also happy to do later on in the day. I know we've got some folks who are working until like 5:30 or something, 6. So we might want to look at, I don't know, 7 p.m. or something. So what works better for everybody? Would it be better for you to have time during the day for you to interact with the material and then ask questions? Or, you know, what do you want to do here? Because also the other question is, do you want to have a different schedule on different days of the week, or would it be better to kind of be the same time every day so that we don't get confused about which day of the week is it, what time? So I sort of think same time would probably be good for everybody, but I'm opening it up the floor here. What do you guys think?
I think the same time every day makes it easier to manage schedules.
Yes.
Yeah.
And remembering.
And remembering,
I
have another class on top of this one. So
Okay. Erica.
I agree. I work Wednesdays through Saturdays from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So because I'm working in Sumner, I won't get home until like 5:30. So I know that cuts out a big chunk of time from the week and the day. But anytime after 5:30, Wednesday through Friday works perfect for me.
Okay. Maggie.
I'm kind of fine with whatever because
Okay.
I'm probably the most flexible here.
There's a few flexible folks, so don't worry.
So I'm fine pretty much with whatever. I'm not a morning person, just throwing that out there. So,
I mean, with Erica's 6 a.m., I don't really think we probably want to go that early. So yeah, I think we're probably looking at later on in the week, sort of later on in the day. So what do you guys think about 7 p.m.? Is it possible?
that
works for me.
I mean, the only problem potentially is that it'd be like 9 p.m. for Maria.
Well, she's not on to ask.
Yeah, right? Okay, so maybe we'll tentatively aim at 7 p.m.
Maybe 6.
Yeah, 6 p.m. would also work. It's sort of prime dinner hour for a lot of people,
Wait,
but we've been eating
maybe
it
not.
who knows when. Like, it
Oh,
depends
yeah.
on the day. So
Wait, would that be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or are we talking about Friday too?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah,
Friday, everybody gets to do what they want.
yay! No, 6
Wait, no,
o'clock would
actually-
be fine. I can always make my kids eat earlier in the day.
Ashley, you're working till 6 on Mondays, though.
Yeah, but I can get on right when I get home if that works for everyone.
We could always do 6:30 maybe. That might cut it back a little. That would give her time to get home.
Yeah, that would be better probably.
6:30. Okay.
Yeah.
So do we want to try 6:30 as a tentative, and then we'll check in with Maria?
Sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so 6:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I'll just plan to post explanation videos about the labs with a little bit more detail, so that way you can try them. And then at 6:30, we can answer questions if you are having any issues with getting things to work. And then you've also got Friday to get the lab stuff to work out, if that's not, if you couldn't get it to work on Thursday. But I'm hoping that all of them will be fine. Speaking of labs, since we're on that, the university, we had a lot of fits and starts with trying to figure out what to do with lab. So that was my headache. But the university agreed to let us build lab kits. And so I would like to either deliver to you if you're local, or I'm gonna have to ship stuff to Maria. But everybody else, if it's convenient to pick up a lab kit on Thursday or Friday this week, then cool. If you need me to drop one off at your house, I can also do that if you don't mind me knowing where you live, because I'm probably going to be down there tomorrow or on Wednesday to finish building the kits up with everybody. So for example, like the folks who live in Tacoma, if you want me to drop your stuff off on my way back up, I could totally do that. So the lab kits may not be 100% complete by the time we get them, because I still have a couple of labs that I am developing, but you should have like most of the material. Certainly you'll have everything to do this week's lab and next week's lab, and then I can always revisit and drop off more stuff. So does anybody need me to drop this off? You can always also let me know.
I need to drop off. My husband's recovering from surgery, so I can't leave him for too long.
Problem. It is not a problem for me.
Both my children are too young to be babysitting.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so if anybody needs me to drop off, you can just email me and then let me know your address, and or if you want me to meet you somewhere.
Where do we pick it up if we were to?
It'll just be at Ernstorf. We'll just plan a time, and
Okay, so we should email you?
We'll just coordinate, yeah.
Okay.
For what time works for you, and we'll just make sure that Peggy or somebody is there to get it to you. So okay. Yeah, so folks are pretty much, Peggy is there working pretty much a normal schedule now, and we're just masks on and everything. So yeah, it was great to see everybody.
We all need to give Peggy cookies or something when we come back in the fall.
She deserves it. All right. Okay, so we'll have lab kits. People can email me if you need a drop off. Otherwise, we'll coordinate what time to pick up on sometime this week. So I'm going to be checking in with Peggy about how our ordering goes. That was the other headache. They made us wait until last Wednesday because new fiscal year to order things. And I was like, at least they said
I love it.
That plus
it never works with chemistry. That's bad.
Making my head explode. So, okay. All right. So I know, Ashley, you have to go at some point, take off when you need to. I'm going to finish going through our material, and you can always watch that video the rest of the way to see anything that you might have missed. Okay.
Hey, are we meeting at 6:30 tomorrow?
We will meet at 6:30 tomorrow. Do you guys want to meet at 6:30 today?
I can if you want.
It's totally up to you. If you guys feel like, okay, I've got time today and I'm going to interact with materials and then I want time to ask, cool. If you are not really thinking you're going to have time to get through enough material before today at 6:30 and you want to wait until tomorrow, I'm okay either way.
I won't be going through any material before 6:30 today. So
yeah, tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll plan on just tomorrow at 6:30, and then assuming Maria can do it, it'll be 6:30 as a normal time, or we'll figure out another schedule, right?
Okay.
Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the syllabus, because that's normally another thing I would do on my first day of class.
Wait, 6:30 is going to be an issue on Wednesdays, because I have my other classes Zoom crap on Wednesdays.
Uh-oh.
Too many
what
classes.
Time is that class?
Huh?
What time is that class?
It's 6, but it's a small group meeting, so I don't know how long it's going to last.
Okay, so why don't you check in with them and, see what we like. We can figure stuff out if we need to. So maybe send an email to that group and see how long it's expected to last, because we can easily shift to 7 if we need to. I don't know that half an hour is going to make a big difference to Maria. So anyway, check back in.
Okay.
Okay, syllabus, there you are. All right, so this is the document I posted up to the Moodle. I'm gonna have some office hours, so really worst case scenario, if for some reason on one day somebody can't come, you can always come to my office hours with any questions, and I'll just have those at some other time during the day. So as I said, our class has kind of 4 main parts. We've got some basics of environmental chemistry that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about error analysis and how we deal with data. And with that, we're going to talk about some analytical tools and instrumentation that we use. And then we've got a bunch of chemistry that's related to chemical equilibria, electrochemistry, different kinds of chemical reactions that we're going to be talking about. So if you need this class as part of the major or the minor, you can use it to replace Chem 331. And so that's part of why I'm making sure that there's enough of that quantitative content in here, not just the descriptive content that would be sort of maybe more typical in an environmental chemistry class. So we've got some learning objectives. They're asking us to include these in our syllabi. And so we're certainly going to do a lot of critical thinking. And of course, this is going to help you with a lot of the subcategories of chemistry, those being analytical, biochemistry, physical chemistry, inorganic, and organic. So, all right, so our specific learning outcomes for this course, we're going to do some statistical methods. We have a lot that's related to kinetics, so that's one of our major classes of chemical reactions, or excuse me, of how we deal with chemical reactions. We've got a lot of aqueous chemistry. We're going to have applications here on gaseous reactions, so atmosphere, right? Natural waters, we're going to talk about drinking water, ocean water, brackish waters, all kinds of waters. We're also going to talk about soil chemistry and a lot about how it affects agriculture or how agriculture affects soil. And then we have a lot of quantification, so measuring different interest analytes, so different things that we are interested in detecting for whatever reason, you know, whether they're nutrients or whether they are contaminants or whatever. So we're going to have some analytical tools, and some of them we're going to be able to use, other ones maybe not so much. I've already kind of talked about our books and the Moodle. Pretty much everything for the course is going to end up being on the Moodle. So as far as the grades go, we're going to have daily homework assignments. I would like you to do them daily, but of course, you'll be turning them in weekly. So you can turn them in as you finish them, or you can just turn them all in on Friday, just depending on your availability. We're going to have 5 quizzes. That's 1 each weekend, and then not 1 the last weekend, because that's the end of our class. So we'll end up having a final exam that last weekend or whenever we decide to schedule it. We will have 6 lab experiments that I'll talk about in a second. I will be giving you points for attendance, which is why I want to make sure everybody can attend. And failing that, you can always attend an office hour as a replacement. So this week we're going to do the accurate measurements lab. It's already up on the Moodle. Next week we're going to be doing some ozone analysis. This one is going to be the only sort of theoretical lab that we're going to do where we aren't measuring stuff because we can't measure ozone. But ozone is important enough that we need to talk about it. So we're going to do an experiment where we are analyzing some data. Greenhouse effect lab should be the following week unless I can't get it to work right now. It's being kind of irritating. And then ocean acidification, I would love for us to do a field trip here as well as the stuff that we're gonna measure ourselves. And as part of this field trip, I was talking with Taylor Shellfish out in Shelton, and I'm hoping we can visit them. They would love to talk to us about how ocean acidification affects the shellfish trade, I guess, or, you know, raising shellfish. And I thought that would be fun. And then natural waters, I'd also like to do a field trip here. And of course, if everybody feels like getting together to analyze soil, cool. we can do this. And then I have an extra credit fun one where we're going to do some art with natural pigments. It's just kind of an extra little bonus. So that's our labs.
I have a quick question. So on the field trip, since we're doing 6:30 at night, will we be bumping those times up?
Yeah, field trips we will probably end up having to do on a different day. So I'm thinking probably Sundays based on everybody's schedule.
Perfect.
For the field trips, just because I know Erica works Wednesday through Saturday, and then Ashley works Monday through Friday. And so Sundays might be the only day that we can coordinate those field trips, because
Okay.
I'd love for everybody to be able to come if they are interested. I'm going to have to make them optional because, of course, Maria can't come, but
Okay.
everybody else, I want to
Yeah,
give
if we could do those on the weekend, that would be great.
Cool. All right, so everybody kind of look at your weekends late in July and early in August, and kind of look at your Sundays and see whether or not those might be available. All right, this was a weird section for me to write because of course we aren't seeing each other very much, but we still have a classroom space, which is here where we are right now. And I want to make sure everybody is feeling comfortable and safe in this space. So of course we all are imperfect creatures, and so we can make mistakes, but let's just try and learn from our mistakes. So if we make a mistake and we commit a microaggression or a macroaggression against somebody, then just learn from your mistakes and try not to do it again. I'm going to try doing the same thing. So for everybody to get the most benefit out of our meeting times, you should watch the videos and try the homework before you come to our electronic meeting times here on Zoom. And so please do come with questions. No question is a bad question. I know people say that, and sometimes we have in the back of our minds, oh, sure, yeah, whatever, right? No, it's really true. Because this is a class where we have all kinds of different chemistry happening, and we have folks who are coming into this class from a whole range of different areas, right? We've got some people who are just starting their 4-year degree. We've got other people who are just finishing their 4-year degree. We've got bio majors, environmental chemistry, environmental studies, and chemistry majors. So, we've got a huge range of different skill sets and experience sets. So do not be embarrassed if you have a question about something. And I know I always felt really limited because I would always have this idea, oh, if I'd only read the book, then I would have the answer to this question. I'm not going to ask because then they'll know immediately that I didn't read the book. Does this sound familiar? So I do not judge students about how your preparation was. I know that we all have restrictions on our time. And so if you didn't get a chance to read the book, you can still ask. It's totally fine. If you didn't have a chance to watch that video, still ask. Just make sure to ask questions. I may deflect. I may say, let's, meet at another time so I can go through this one-on-one. You can also set up times with me one-on-one. So if you're really struggling with some particular concept, then just make an appointment with me. I'm extremely available and I'd be happy to meet with you. If you do have an emergency and you're going to miss class or you get sick or whatever, then just let me know. We'll work it out. We'll make sure that it happens. I'm pretty available. You can also feel free to text me if if I don't reply quickly enough. My phone number, did I put it up there? I usually put it up. I didn't. Okay. So I will just put it up here. My phone number is 206-290-7122. Most of you already have it. And so you can text me if you need to, either to let me know of something that's happening right now, or if you have a problem that comes up. All right, so homework. I'm going to be trying to post a homework assignment after each section of the book that I describe. So in my notes, once you start watching the videos, you'll see, I describe some stuff, and then at the end I say, here, try these problems. And the problems should relate pretty directly to what we just talked about. I'm going to try and make them really as connected as possible. And if you aren't seeing how they're connected, totally just ask. Sometimes it can be hard to see how problems connect with content. So for homework, please handwrite it, scan it. I use the Cam Scanner app. And if you try it with the magic color setting, I just kind of wrote it right here in case you forget later. It cleans up the visuals really well, makes it look really nice. So do please upload those as PDFs into the assignment boxes in the Moodle, and then we'll be able to just get the points put in right there on the Moodle. So we already kind of talked about laboratory work. You should be able to do the lab experiments based on the description, and then I will post videos as well. Sometimes I'll make the videos, or if it's a lab technique that somebody else has a really good video on it, I'll just post that one too. So I would like you to have your lab write-ups. I put them for Saturday on the week. We can talk about that if that isn't enough space. But I would like you to get them done as quickly as possible. I thought if we get them done on Saturday, then Sunday can be available for doing things like taking quizzes and stuff like that. But we can talk if that doesn't work. So we will have a quiz each week. These are going to be shorter. If you've taken one of my classes before, it's going to be shorter than one of those exams, which is why I called them quizzes. They're probably going to be like 3 pages long or something. I may give you more space if you need to, but anyway, we'll see. Final exam will be about twice as long as a regular quiz. And then these last 2 sections, the honor code section, please don't cheat. You know, we've had a lot of people talk about students using Chegg, which is a cheating website. I mean, supposedly it's a tutorial website, but people are posting problems from exams and stuff, and it's not honestly that hard to track. Just don't do it. It's just the consequences are too bad, and I'm not actually concerned about this class. But I know I'm going to have to find a solution in my Gen Chem class because it's a much higher, I don't know, risk, I guess. So for special accommodations, if you have any kind of accommodations I need to be aware of, the Learning and Writing Center is available for documented learning disabilities. They can get me any kind of information I need. If you have any other kinds of accommodations that are necessary, please let me know. If you have a dependent child, you are welcome to bring your child to any kind of class events that we have, like field trips, as long as you're not going to be too distracted by them. You know, it's going to be fine. I'm probably going to have my kids, or at least one of them, with me as well. So I want this to be an okay place for people with a variety of different needs. So, all right, so that's my syllabus. I'm happy to answer any questions about it, if we have any.
I had a question about, so are we still doing a lab notebook? Like, are we still doing the write-up of the introduction and then the data? And are we scanning that as part of the lab write-up?
Yeah, so depending on how you like to write them. So if you like to handwrite your introduction and stuff in your lab notebook, you can scan those and upload those. If you prefer to do them in Microsoft Word, then you can do it that way as well. So I have a section on the Moodle. I found a very nice summary of, kind of like, here's what you should be doing for a lab write-up. And so I posted that, I think it's a website. I don't know if it's a video, but I posted that website. Let me just check real quick. It's over on the Moodle. I think it's here. Yeah.
So we don't have to write it in a lab notebook carbon if we don't want to. We can just type it all up in Word.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So you should have some kind of a lab notebook to record your data in, just so you have it all in one place. If you want to use a spiral or a composition notebook, whatever your preference is fine. As far as what you write up, if you like writing everything up in Microsoft Word, cool. If you like handwriting everything, that's also fine with me. My main goal is that your lab report is going to be all one continuous document, so that I don't have to like switch back and forth, because electronically that's a super big headache. And so however you put it together, I would like it to flow from one piece to the next piece. And if that means that you are handwriting everything and then you scan it and you just upload it, cool, that's fine. As long as I can read your handwriting, it's fine. So this link right here to how to write a lab report kind of goes through all of the sections, and it talks about that process. And anyway, it's a university, a different university, not ours, but I thought it was a nice summary of lab reports. Other questions?
I have a quick question about the quizzes and the exams. Are they going to be timed?
Yeah, probably. So currently I'm planning like 90 minutes for a quiz, and I'm expecting that they will be open book, open note, just to kind of decrease the stress level on taking those quizzes. But I haven't been able to get Moodle to work super well for me to have you take an exam on Moodle. So I may do it the way we did it in PChem this spring, which was to have people tell me what time they wanted to take the exam or the quiz, and then I'll email you the materials. You'll do it, scan it, upload it within the time frame that we set. So we may do it like that if we can't get Moodle to cooperate. I like the Moodle interface in that it automatically gives you a time limit, but I'm not super comfortable with writing problems in Moodle yet, so we'll see. We'll see before Friday, right? What I do with it. Other questions?
I know, like, on the syllabus it says that the lab is going to be Thursday, but does it matter if we do it on Thursdays?
Not really. I scheduled lab on Thursdays just because in the past when we've done summer classes, they've been like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday class plus Thursday lab. But since this is an online class, you can choose to do it when you want. The lab materials should be available each week, by the start of the week or pretty close to it. And so you can really start it at any point once you have the lab kits.
Okay.
Other questions?
So in the lab part, you put, I'd prefer to have a PDF. So if we do a Word document, is that still okay instead of the PDF?
Yeah, I think Moodle will let you do like upload Word documents pretty okay as well. But it's also super easy to save a Word document as a PDF. They just tend to be easier to mark notes on them. So yeah, so you can, like, if you're doing it in Microsoft Word, and then just save as and tell it to save it as a PDF.
Okay.
And the other reason to do that is that sometimes I have had Moodle like not show me some of the pages when they were in different formats, and then I missed them, and then the student wrote back and was like, but I had this in this document. I was like, oh no, okay, I'll go regrade it. So other questions?
Oh, Maria texted me back. She said she might hop in late. She didn't realize we were doing it today.
Okay, I'll email her about tomorrow then. All right, is there anything, let me double check my little list of things I wanted to do.
So when will you be posting the quizzes again? Sorry.
So my goal is that I'll be posting them at some point on Friday, but it may be Saturday depending on the week. Just, workflow wise, I know that this is going to be a full-time occupation for me to get everything done. So I'm aiming at having them available on Friday, by like the end of the day on Friday.
Okay.
All right, so I think I've covered all of the content that I wanted to cover for today, which mainly had to do with the syllabus and the scheduling and some basics about what this class is like. So unless anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to call it an end to our first class meeting. And thank you
I did
all.
have one more question about the lab report.
Yep, absolutely.
In the syllabus, in the thing, it said that you only wanted like the introduction and then the data, and then like in the actual lab, the lab, that's what it says for the write-up.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanting us to cover everything that's in the like write a lab report, or are you just wanting us to cover what you have set in the actual lab?
Great question. So in the lab, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Let's see. All right. So in case you haven't taken a look at this yet, there's no reason why you would have, right? Necessarily. So this is our first lab, the measurement accuracy and statistical analysis. Hopefully everybody can see this on my Moodle. And at the very end, I have what I want in this lab report. So these are all the parts that I would like to see in the lab report. And it is true that over here in the how to write a lab report, they also go through different sections that I don't necessarily want. And so I just went ahead and included it, even though like you don't need to write an abstract for these labs. Come on, little website. There we go. So we don't need to write an abstract. You know, you may or may not have any references and appendices, but all of the rest of the sections, they have a pretty nice description of what goes on in each of these sections in case you are not as familiar with them. And then each lab, I'm trying to make sure that I include that little section that says, here's the sections I want in this lab report. All right, other questions here? So I would recommend before tomorrow at 6:30, tomorrow at 6:30 is when we're meeting, that you try and get through all of these significant figure, type of error, propagation of uncertainty, Gaussian and standard deviation, confidence intervals, and comparison of whatever that is, means, this one. Now, this confidence intervals, I have not yet posted that. That will go up later on today. So the rest of these materials you should see on the Moodle today and maybe tomorrow morning. But you know, those Tuesday and Wednesday content should also go up today or tomorrow. So you should see that as an update. And try those problems in assignments 1 through 4. So that way you can come with questions. So that we can make that as our goal. Okay. All right, any other questions?
Well, assignments 4 is not up yet.
It's not. It will be at the end of the confidence intervals and case 1 means. So yeah, I was working on that this weekend where I didn't have internet, and then I wanted to get some environmental chemistry specific examples to have us work on as part of that case. So I didn't post that one yet.
Dr. Smalley, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I came late. I didn't know if we had like a confirmed time, so I was just confused. And then I just saw from Miss Katrina, she was like, "Are you coming to class or not?" I was like, "Oh no." And so yeah, okay, I'm here now, extremely late. So.
Oh, well, that's why I recorded the video, so that way you could watch it. So no worries. But I'm glad that you came because we actually were talking about a different time, and we'll give you a minute to introduce yourself as well in a second. So we were talking about potentially 6:30 or 7 p.m. Pacific. Is that going to be too late for you? That would be 8:30 or 9 p.m.
Huh? I'm sorry. Say it again.
So we have a couple folks who are working.
Yeah.
Like Ashley is working, and then Erica is working later in the week, and so 10 a.m. isn't going to work very well.
Right.
For us. So we're looking at later on in the evening, and so 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. those were both proposed as possible times for us to meet. Is that going to work for you, even though it's going to be like 9 p.m. your time?
Is the normal class time going to be like now, just like about an hour?
Yeah, we're just going to meet for about an hour.
Yeah, that would be completely fine then.
Okay.
If it's like, because I remember whenever we took microbiology in the first summer semester, it was sometimes it could be about 2 hours long, and so But if it's just like a usual like class period time of like an actual just like regular hour, then that should be fine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have a problem with whatever is most comfortable for whoever wants the 5 or 6 p.m. Both of those would be completely fine for me.
Okay, so we're looking at, well, tomorrow we're going to meet at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So 8:30 p.m. your time.
Yeah, 8:30. Yeah, okay. Don't worry, I'll figure that part out.
No worries. And the model that we're doing is that everybody's watching videos that I've posted on the Moodle before we meet for class. And then when we meet for class, we're going to just like work problems together, make sure people don't have any questions. Or if you do have questions, that you get those answered. So yeah, the online class, I'm not going to present a lot of new material in this kind of a context. It's just going to be, you know, like we're going to have focused activities.
Okay, cool. That's really cool. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we were just wrapping up. I'm going to stop recording here.